What's up, YouTube? This is your boy John from the Jersey Shore, and I am back with you today to give you my review of the 1975 film, Jaws. If you're already a subscriber to my channel, welcome back. It's good to see you again. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, do me a personal favor. Click that subscribe button and ring my bell. Jaws was written by Peter Benchley and Carl Gottlieb, and it was directed by Steven Spielberg. Starring Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, and Robert Shaw. So Jaws starts off with a guy and a girl. They're giving each other googly eyes. They're at a beach party. They're doing a bunch of drinking. They decide to go skinny dipping, so they run away from the party where everybody is. They go off to the side where it's a little more private. They show her stripping off her clothes while she's running down the beach. The guy's, he's giving chase, but he's drunk as hell. He's half stumbling all over himself. Eventually, he winds up laying on the beach in his underwear and he passes out. The girl makes it into the water and she swims out to the dinghy that's out in the ocean. Once she gets out there, you start seeing her like get jerked down under the water, and then you start seeing her get swirled around from side to side like she's in a washing machine. And that's that. And the show's over for this girl, ladies and gentlemen. That shark just got its first victim. So the next thing you see is Roy Scheider's character. He's Sheriff Brody. He's walking down the beach with the guy who the night before passed out on the beach in his underwear. He's the guy that was with the girl. They're walking down the beach, and there's another cop down a little bit down the shore, and he is blowing his whistle. So Roy Scheider and this guy walk up to this cop, and he looks like he's just completely distraught. And the next thing you see is the remains of this girl laying on the beach. You see her hand sticking up. You see little crabs crawling all over this pile of what used to be this girl. So because of this very obvious shark attack, Roy Scheider decides to shut down the beaches until they can investigate this a little further and see if there's any more problems with a shark, any more spottings of a shark, see if anybody can catch a shark. They just don't want anybody else to get hurt, so he shuts down the beaches. The mayor, on the other hand, he's more concerned with that bottom dollar. The holidays are coming up. It's summertime. He needs that beach to be open. So the mayor wins out. The next thing you see is the beach is wide open. There's tons of people on the beach, but everybody seems to be afraid to get into the water because of this shark attack. So the mayor goes up to one of his friends, who's obviously an influential individual in the community, and convinces him to go in the water. Once the seal is broken and he goes in the water, everybody goes in the water. You see a mother sitting on the beach, and her little boy approaches her and asks if he can go back in the water just for 10 more minutes. She says, okay, 10 minutes. He goes back out into the beach, and unfortunately, this little boy does not make it back to shore. So now you got two grisly victims. You got a pile of what used to be a girl, and then actually it's not so grisly. You got a boy who's completely gone. The shark totally consumed him. So now you got a town full of locals who are out there trying to catch this shark. Everybody's up in arms. Now they got two people been murdered by this shark. Somebody needs to catch this thing before anybody else gets hurt. So a couple of locals do manage to catch a shark, and he's pretty big too. They got him hung up on display up on the docks near the ocean. Everybody in town seems to be coming up here to take a look at this shark. The little boy's mother actually shows up, all dressed in black, walks up to Roy Scheider's character and smacks him in the face because she feels like it's his fault that these beaches were open in the first place. You know she should have been smacking the mayor. Well, you know everything gets blamed on the cops. So Richard Dreyfuss's character shows up. He's a marine biologist. His name is Hooper. He shows up and tries telling Officer Brody and tries telling the mayor that in order to determine if this in fact is the shark that killed that little boy and killed that girl, that they should cut him open, that the remains, it's got a very slow digestive system. So the remains of this boy should still be inside that shark if in fact that's the shark that ate him. And he is very skeptical. He does not believe that this is the shark, primarily because the bite does not match on this shark as compared to what's left of this little boy, which basically was his raft. Understandably so. They don't cut this shark open sitting right there in front of everybody on the stock, especially right in front of that young boy's mother. The last thing in the world that mayor wants to see is this little boy come pouring out of this shark. So later that night, Officer Brody and Hooper go to where this shark is being held. They cut him open, they pull out some old cans, they pull out a license plate, they pull out a bunch of fish, but one thing that they don't pull out of this shark is that little boy. So what that ultimately proves is the shark that they caught is not the shark that they're looking for. That thing's still out there. So now they hold a big town meeting trying to decide what they're going to do about this giant shark. And this is where we get introduced to the character Quint, played by Robert Shaw. And he says that he will go out and catch this shark, but it's going to cost him. He'll do it, but it's going to be for a fee. So now Captain Quint, Officer Brody, and the marine biologist Hooper are going to go out on Quint's boat, the Orca. Once they're out there, Quint acts very high and mighty with these guys. He acts like they're rookies because they really, especially Officer Brody, he doesn't know what he's doing out there. So he seems kind of demeaning towards them, making it seem like they don't know what they're doing, that they got no business being out there. Even the marine biologist, who knows all about this stuff, he just acts like that those two guys are beneath him. Quint does. He's kind of a jerk to these two people. But after a while, the mood lightens up between the three. They're down in the galley one night, and they're just having drinks. They're loosening up. They're getting to know each other a little bit more on a personal level. They actually show Hooper and Quint sitting next to each other, very intoxicated, showing each other's war scars. They're comparing scars with each other. And it's kind of funny. Roy Schreider's character, not Roy Schreider, Richard Dreyfuss' character eventually pulls his shirt open and he says he's got a scar right here, and he mentions that it's from a girl breaking his heart. It's kind of amusing. It's nice to see the friendly banter between these three for a change. So, of course, this is entirely too good to be true. Everything is going entirely too smoothly at the moment, and all of a sudden, the shark starts banging into the side of the boat. He manages to knock a few boards loose. The boat begins to flood, and because the boat starts to flood, they start to experience electrical problems and engine problems. So now you got a drunk ship captain, a drunk marine biologist, and a cop who doesn't know what to do and is scared to death out in the middle of the ocean on a little tiny boat with no power, in the dark, with a giant killer great white shark. And that's it. I'm not going to tell you anything else about this movie. I'm going to go with the assumption that everybody who's watching this video has already seen Jaws, probably multiple times. I mean, who in the world hasn't seen Jaws? And for the few of you out there who have not seen Jaws, I'm not going to be the one that's going to ruin this ending for you. This movie was made in 1975 by a very young Steven Spielberg before he was a household name. This movie had a whole lot to do with him becoming that household name. It has now been 45 years since Jaws came out. This was considered to be the first big summer blockbuster movie of all time. It has still never, in my opinion, has never been a shark movie made that has come even close to being as good as Jaws, with the exception maybe of Jaws 2. Over the years, there have been countless shark films made, and none of them, in my opinion, have ever been able to hold a candle to Jaws. Not the story, not the actors, not the directing, not the editing, not the shark itself. Nothing has ever been able to touch Jaws. And as far as shark movies go, this is on the Mount Rushmore of shark movies by itself. In 1975, Steven Spielberg got it right. Nobody has been able to get it right ever since. If you haven't seen Jaws, watch Jaws. It's the greatest shark movie that has ever been made. Alright folks, that's going to do it for my review of the 1975 film Jaws. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Click that subscribe button. Ring that bell. I would love for you to go on this journey with me. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Have a kick-ass day. And thank you for watching. We're going to need a bigger boat.